What if I told you that one Ethiopian filmmaker helped reshape black cinema in America without Hollywood, without big budgets, and without ever selling out? His name is Haile Gerima, a rebel director, a visionary storyteller, and a proud son of Ethiopia. From the hills of Gondar to the heart of American film schools, Gerima's work has challenged the world to see Africa and blackness through our own eyes. In this video, we dive into the life, films, and legacy of Haile Gerima and why his story still matters today. Haile Gerima was born on March 4th, 1946, in the historic city of Gondar, Ethiopia, a place known for its ancient castles, deep traditions, and rich cultural heritage. He grew up during the reign of Emperor Haile Selassie, a time when Ethiopia was changing fast, politically and socially. These early experiences planted the seeds of political awareness that would later define his films. His father, a respected playwright and dramatist, was one of his first artistic influences. From an early age, Haile saw the power of word and performance to tell truth, challenge authority, and preserve culture. As a student, he was drawn to storytelling, not just as entertainment, but as a form of resistance. Even before he picked up a camera, Haile was already dreaming of telling stories that could shake the world. But his journey as a filmmaker wouldn't begin in Ethiopia. It would take him across the ocean to a film school in the heart of Los Angeles. In the late 1960s, Haile Gerima left Ethiopia and moved to the United States, a country deep in civil rights struggles, protests, and political unrest. He enrolled at the University of California, Los Angeles, better known as UCLA, to study film. But he wasn't there to chase Hollywood dreams. Instead, Gerima became part of a radical group of black and brown filmmakers who would later be known as the LA Rebellion, a movement that aimed to tell stories outside of white Hollywood's lens. They rejected Hollywood stereotypes of African and black people and instead created cinema rooted in their own history, their own struggles, and their own communities. For Gerima, filmmaking was not about fame. It was about truth, about memory, about freedom. And it didn't take long for him to make waves, not just as a student, but as a force of change in global black cinema. Haile Gerima's breakthrough came in 1976 with Harvest, 3,000 years, a raw, black and white film shot entirely in Ethiopia, using non-professional actors. It tells the story of a peasant family. No glamour, no romanticism, just truth. It was cinema as resistance. Then came Sankofa in 1993, the film that made Gerima a legend. It follows an African-American model who is transported back in time to experience slavery firsthand. Shot in Ghana at Elmina Castle, one of the main ports of the transatlantic slave trade, Sankofa confronted the horrors of slavery through a Pan-African lens. Sankofa is an Akan word meaning go back and fetch it, a call to reclaim our stolen history and identity. In 2008, Gerima released Teza, a powerful film about an Ethiopian intellectual returning home during the brutal Derg regime. It explores exile, memory, and the cost of revolution. Teza won multiple international awards, including the Special Jury Prize of the Venice Film Festival, cementing Gerima's status as a global filmmaker. Across all his work, Gerima's themes are clear: colonialism, cultural identity, liberation, and the trauma of the diaspora. But Gerima didn't just make films. He built communities. As a professor at Howard University for decades, he mentored generations of black filmmakers, teaching them how to tell their own stories their own way. He pushed a DIY approach, raising funds independently, distributed his films himself, even selling DVDs by hand. Why? Because he refused to let anyone control his narrative. In a world obsessed with fame, Haile Gerima chose freedom. In a system built on erasure, he chose memory. And through film, he gave voice to the silenced. Away from the bright lights of the film world, Haile Gerima lives a life rooted in purpose and principle, alongside his partner in both life and art. He is married to Shirikiana Aina, a fellow filmmaker, activist, and educator. Together, they built a partnership grounded in shared vision and cultural resistance. In 1984, they co-founded My Fita Films, an independent distribution company created to get Pan-African stories into the hands of people without gatekeepers. My Fita didn't just distribute their own work. It became a hub for diasporic films, helping African and African-American filmmakers bypass mainstream systems entirely. Gerima has children, but he's kept his family life mostly private, protecting them from the spotlight, just as he protected the integrity of his art. His lifestyle is far from flashy. No Hollywood mansions, no celebrity parties, just a quiet, grounded presence focused on teaching, creating, and empowering. You'll find him in classrooms, not studios. At community screenings, not premieres. He doesn't chase fame, he nurtures legacy. Haile Gerima reminds us that sometimes the most powerful voices don't shout, they build, they teach, and they pass the torch. Haile Gerima isn't a Hollywood millionaire. His estimated net worth falls between $1 to $3 million, earned through decades of filmmaking, teaching, and independent distribution. But to measure his value in money would miss the point. Gerima's true wealth lies in his impact. He inspired a generation of African and Black filmmakers, from Los Angeles to Lagos, to reclaim their narratives and tell stories that Hollywood would never touch. Filmmakers like Ava DuVernay, Raoul Peck, and younger voices in African cinema have cited Gerima as a blueprint, not just for his films, but for the way he made them, independently, unapologetically, and rooted in truth. He helped create a roadmap for independent Pan-African storytelling, one that rejected colonial filters and centered African dignity, memory, and resistance. Even now, his work remains a symbol of resistance cinema, not just in content, but in spirit. Every film he makes is an act of rebellion, of healing, and of cultural defense. In a world flooded with noise, Haile Gerima's legacy is a reminder that truth cuts through, that art made with conviction, not capital, is what truly lasts. And that's the power of Haile Gerima, not just a filmmaker, but a movement. Though he never chased awards, the world couldn't ignore Haile Gerima's brilliance. In 2008, his film Teza earned the Special Jury Prize at the Venice Film Festival, one of the most prestigious honors in world cinema. At FESPACO, the Pan-African Film and Television Festival of Ouagadougou, Gerima has won multiple awards, including Best Film, for works that centered African stories with authenticity and pride. Over the years, he's received numerous Lifetime Achievement Awards and international retrospectives. From the U.S. to Europe to Africa, film schools, cultural institutions, and African film organizations across the globe have honored him for his contributions, not just as a director, but as a revolutionary voice in cinema. But perhaps the greatest recognition is this: his work continues to teach, to heal, and to inspire new generations of storytellers who refuse to be silenced. Haile Gerima once said, "Storytelling is an act of resistance. It's a way of reclaiming your humanity in a world." And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe